Welcome to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage. Today we're going to be having a look at Bitcoin. Let's get into the price action and see what is going on. So primarily what we're still looking for is that potential that we are still within the C wave, and we're looking for that possibility to come down a little bit deeper here. So if we are looking for this, we have actually achieved this 1-to-1, but I'm looking for that potential that we could see a move down towards this lower range here, which would be this 1236 to this 1382, looking for this 25,192 to this 24,681 level. Now if we did move down here, we'd have obviously the 50%, which is also sitting here towards this 24,594, and what I'd be keeping an eye on was a potential for this interaction onto this trend line. We also do have this level here sitting at this 25,211, which would be coming and back testing basically these highs. So what we would be looking for is actually an interaction with this ideally. Now if we are looking at this in this way, what we would be arguing is that potentially we are still within a 5-wave move, and what we'd be looking for within this is the fact that we have this as 1, 2, 3, 4, and actually we're looking for this 5th wave. Now if this is a 4th wave here, we have to be mindful of a few things. If this has completed further back here, what this would then mean is that we're already within this 5th, but the way that we're coming down is not making a lot of sense if this is the case. So what we'd be looking for is that actual potential that we are still within the 4th wave. So it is still possible that we could see something like this, where we have this as a bigger A wave, B wave, C wave, and we're looking for a D wave to the downside. So I have this area highlighted here towards this 26,707 to this 26,678. Now this would be a golden pocket retracement of this C wave to the upside. Now if we are looking for this, what we'd want to see is basically a 3-wave structure coming back down here. Now another point that is interesting here is that within this range here, we do have a so that's of this entire area. What we do have is we have a value area low, which is sitting here towards the 618 as well. So I would be potentially interested to see if we get a reaction here. Now, if we just move down in 3 waves into this zone, what this could actually indicate is we get another 3 waves to the upside here, and then this could actually complete our E wave, in which case we'd be expecting a bigger 5-wave move to the downside. So in validation of this potential to be a triangle actually comes by crossing this B wave here at this 26361 and moving above this 27663 area. We wouldn't want to see this move play out any higher than this level or any lower than this B wave if this is the case. So what we'd be looking for here is basically additional 3-wave structures here, one more to the upside, looking for this E wave. So we'll have to see exactly where this would play out to if this does play out, but I would be expecting to find support above this B wave low here. Like I said, this 26,707 is an interesting area, particularly because we also have this value area low here. Now, if we are arguing that this is potentially completed already, what we'd be looking for would be the potential that we are breaking down in a bigger way here, where we could actually argue that within this structure, what we could be forming is a bigger 5-way sequence, where this becomes 1-2, then we have another 1-2 here, and we'd be looking for this move to actually start breaking down. Now, confirmation of this count as a 1-2-1-2 would actually be a breakdown towards this 25,510 area. Now what we'd want to see here, if we were looking at the volume, is if we are actually within a 3rd wave here, what we'd want to see is we'd want to see the volume start to increase as price moves down. This would just give us more confirmation that we are actually within a 3rd wave here, because that's what we want to see. As the price starts to break down, your volume is increasing in this bigger 3rd wave. So we want to see that for confirmation. That, like I said, that target area would be this 25,510, and then we'd be looking for that possibility of an additional 4th and a 5th in this case. Now, if this is the case and we're actually expanding out like this, what this would mean is that we have an additional 1-2 here. Now, we were talking about this, if we were looking at this as a flat, having that possibility of breaking down towards this 2.618 area or even deeper, because this can sometimes happen when we get a flat correction in a wave 2. So if this is the case, that would kind of tie in with that idea of this 3rd wave being towards the zone of this 25,357, as this 2.618 would actually be here at this 25,442. So if we do get a breakdown here, we have to be careful, because this could actually mean that we actually have an additional 4th and a 5th here, in which case we will look to push down lower towards some of those targets that we just discussed. So we have to see exactly where this wave sequence completes for us to get a more accurate target for this additional 4th and a 5th, if this is the case. Now, if we are looking at this in a different way, and we want to say that rather possibly what we have here is that this move is not actually breaking down in a 5-wave move, and that we are actually still within the B wave. What we could actually have is something like this, where we're in a flat, where this is A, B, and C. We're still looking for a potential for a 5-wave move. So this would actually look to invalidate that other potential of a 5-wave drop, and we'd be looking to push up higher. So the key zones that I would be looking out here for would actually be a move back up towards this, primarily towards this 1-to-1, which would be here at this 28,720. This would bring us back into this channel as well as into this yellow target box. Now, as well as that, we could actually see this extend up higher. If it is going to be an expanding flat, we could actually even look to push as high as this 1.618, which would actually bring us back into the high here and look to actually test out this 1618 area at this 30,673. Though the whole target area as a potential expanding flat would be here between this 29451 to this 30673. That would be a typical area we look for. Now, like I said, we do have some interesting areas here. We have this yellow target box here, which is currently sitting between this 29142 to this 28601. And then we also do have that potential to come back into these highs. These highs are sitting rather towards this zone as 29912. So this could be quite an interesting zone if we do move up here. This would also tie in with the idea of having a 786 retracement of this move to the downside as a whole, and this could actually look to bring us back up into this area. So if we do get this as a 5-wave sequence to the upside, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, what it would be anticipating at that point would be an additional drop here towards this zone of this 25,482 after completing this move to the upside. So if we are looking at something like this and we want to say that we are looking to potentially break up here, we do not have good structure at the moment for this, but it is nevertheless still a potential. So one thing I'm looking at is whether we are actually forming this as a diagonal pattern, in which case what we'd be looking for is the potential to actually come back up here, looking for this higher range here of this 28,256 as a wave 3. So this is actually where the wave 3 cannot cross. What we'd want to see here is basically to see a 3-wave structure develop to the upside, looking to actually take this wave 1 high, which is sitting here at this 27663. If this is the case, what this would mean is that we actually have a bigger push here for the 3rd wave. We'd want to see interaction with this wave 1 for a 4th, looking for a 3-wave move back to the downside, looking to intersect this wave 1, and then looking to push up again in an additional 5th wave. If we had to come back here towards this zone of this previous high, this would mean that we cannot cross higher than this 29418 area. Otherwise, this would be longer than the potential wave 3 if we're looking at it in this way. So this is obviously something that hasn't started to form yet. We can potentially argue that we are starting to form this, but really what we need to see is a bigger move to the upside here and actually taking this wave 1 area. Until we actually break back above this, we have those two bearish scenarios. Now, the other way that we could argue that this is playing out is that we could actually still be within a wave 2, where we would have to treat this move as a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 up into this area. If this is the case, we could potentially be looking at this as a wave 2 as we came down to this 702 line and we have reacted to the upside. Now, the internal structure of this is not great at the moment, but what I would be looking out for is basically the potential that within here we could be starting to break to the upside. So the way we would have to count this currently is potentially that this is a 1, 2 within here, and then possibly another 1 and a 2. If this is the case, what we'd be looking for is a bigger move up here towards this 27,790 and starting to get better structure. Now, the problem that I have with this count is that within the middle here, we could argue that this is a triangle. Now, if this is a triangle, what we would be saying is that we can't actually have a triangle in a wave 2. So this couldn't be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 if that's the case. However, there are other ways we could look at this as a more complex move, but we need to just be aware that this bit here is throwing a bit of doubt on this count. So if we do start to push to the upside here, this 27,790 would be a typical area that we actually look for as a wave 3. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Now, obviously, if we do push up here, we need to be very careful because we are coming back into these highs. So this could actually tie into the corrective move. Now, we were talking about a couple of things as well here and saying, well, what if this move to the downside is either completed here and we're looking for a corrective move to the upside, or alternatively, this is actually just still forming a bigger correction. So what we're looking for is two possibilities as a W, X, and a Y. The one-to-one of the Y wave would actually still be looking for this potential to bring us back down here towards this 24,110. But what we'd be looking for in the interim here would be looking for a X wave to the upside. Typical rejection zone would be here between this 29,780 to this 28,270. So this lower 50% range is particularly interesting to me. If we are looking at this move in this way, potentially that could mean a move back into these highs and retesting some of these levels. Now, if we are looking at this in this way, what we could be arguing is that we still have another leg to the upside to target out this zone. Now, the other way, which is going to have much of the same internals, would be looking at this as WXYX and then looking for another Z wave to the downside. Target area for this, if we did move back up into this top channel, would actually be this 25,238. So keeping an eye on this, I want to see whether we actually continue to maintain these highs. If we maintain these highs, we can look for that potential of a direct breakdown, or even, like I said, potentially this is a triangle. If we actually break back above this 27,663, what I would be looking for primarily would be actually seeing if we have an interaction with this high here at this 28,331. If we do push up higher here, then I would be looking for that potential of coming back up into this yellow box area and challenging this channel line again. Now, within this area, we do have some interesting lines. So we do have a monthly naked point of control, a daily naked point of control. We have the potential of swing fading and also the golden pocket of this entire move to the downside. So I would be keeping an eye on this area. This could potentially give us some target areas for a rejection and then looking to complete to the downside. Typically speaking, if we are forming a W, X, Y, X, and a Z, it is common for these to form within channels. So this would be why I'm looking for that potential of this move to the upside. Now, another thing that we have here is based off of this being an X wave, what we could be looking for is a move up here. 1-to-1 would be this 29,538. So that would actually bring us back up into this range. And that would be looking at the 1-to-1 of this as an X wave, looking for the possibility that this X wave could find equality with the previous one. Now, it doesn't mean that it has to. And like I said, we do have some potential here that we could see an interaction with this channel and get rejected. If that's the case, then potentially this 0854 and the 786 at this 28,962 to this 28,697 area could be a potential target area that we could actually look for. Alternatively, the 0.618 would also bear quite a good resemblance on this previous high here. So we need to be aware of that if we do move up in this three-wave move. Now, if we are looking for a corrective structure here, what I've been looking at within this move is basically looking at the potential that this is a three-wave move. So either treating this as an A, a B, and then looking for the C wave to the upside, or alternatively, we treat this as a W, an X, and a Y. So now if this is a W, X, and a Y, it is possible, or even an ABC, it is possible first off that we could still be within the B wave. So really until we actually break this area here of this 26,204, we need to be aware that there is still potential for upside here. So this could all still be within a B wave. Like I said, potentially this could become A, B, C. We see a move down here, and then we still look for that possibility of a move to the upside in a corrective way. Now, if this is the case, what we could see is either this move play out as a corrective move to the upside, where this is just W, X, and Y, in which case this 1-to-1 would be up here at this 27,460. If we are moving up here, one area I would be paying attention to, because we have a daily naked point of control sitting here at this 27,369, what we could see is a move up into these zones and then actually looking to break down from that point. So we need to be aware of that possibility that within here, we could see this move just develop as a three-wave move here and then still see an additional sell-off, which could actually look to bring us back down towards this zone here of this 26,204, because we still do have a daily naked point of control here, which has not been touched. Now, as we can see, if I pull this range here, we can see that we are currently sitting in this area where we've just found support on top of this point of control. Now, if we are looking for that possibility of a pushback to the upside, that could actually look to bring us back up into this higher area. So we need to just keep an eye on this and see if we do see a move up into this zone because if we have a look at this area here, we can see that we did actually come back up into this value area high already. And, possibly we could even look to retest this. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on this. Possibly we could see, continuation up here and retesting of this zone, possibly even setting a triple top here where we have these two tops here. We come back up, make another one, and then look for that possibility of that rejection from that point. Obviously, the triangle idea is still in play here, but if we do look to move up in a bigger way, still I will be keeping an eye on this previous swing high that we have here towards this zone of this 28,330. If we do move up into this zone, we do have a bit of confluence up in this area where we could actually see a rejection from this point. So just keep an eye on that. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description, you'll find a link to Discord. Come check it out. It's free to join. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.